Something no one tells you about motherhood with Dravet.
I mean, you'll never rest again.
We're
Or
gonna.
you and your partner will merge into one person because caring for your child is a 24/7 job. The thing about Dravet syndrome is it's a genetic mutation. So it's because she basically has a spelling error in one of her genes. It's in her DNA. So part of her brain being removed is not going to fix it. At the moment, the myoclonic seizures she has, which are like maybe 10 to 15 seconds, she's having like 50 to 100 a day. And the thing is, everybody will say, let me know if you need anything, but only a few people will know that you will never ask.
Hi, welcome to the UNspecial podcast. Today I'm talking with Bianca Coghlan. And she's from Australia, as you probably figured that out. She is a mom, an advocate, and a fierce believer in showing up for herself while raising her daughter Skyler, who we'll talk about, who lives with Dravet syndrome. Bianca's story is raw, real, and full of lessons about strength, love, and resilience. And we're diving into the highs, the heartbreaks, and the ways she's learned to care for herself while caring for Skyler. So get ready for a conversation that's going to be honest, inspiring, and unforgettable. Bianca, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Zach. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So I before we get into it, I want to hear your Hyrox experience. And for the listeners, Hyrox, it's big in the UK. It's how does he describe it? It's like strength meets cardio, or like CrossFit meets functional fitness.
It's a running race. It is a running race. Yeah.
Is it the hardest part?
Those stations in between are very short and sweet, and then you're running again.
I think I would struggle. I mean, the gym I go to is very Hyrox focused, and all the movements I enjoy, but the running I despise. Yeah. So I would struggle.
Yeah, you have to enjoy running because it's an 8K of solid running and it's continuous running. There's no rest. So yeah, you are running and then you're in for your station and then you just peak your heart rate even more and then you're running again.
What was your average heart rate?
Probably like over 180. Like my max would be 195. And yeah, I was probably over 180 the whole time. Like you're in zone 5. Oh my
gosh. The whole time?
Yeah, by station 3, after those sled pushes, you're in zone 5. I was actually pretty sick when I did it. So I couldn't even breathe through my nose. And my partner was really fit. She's so fast. So she's just going for a stroll on these runs with me and just trying to keep me going as I'm just, really struggling. But it was good fun.
Will you do it again?
I don't think I'm interested in doing it solo, but I would be interested in doing it partner again. The partner was fun, but I'd like to train more for it if I was going to do it. I just don't know if I have the time to train for a Hyrox properly. I've got the time to run. Everything in between is, you got to be good at everything. That's the thing.
Right. And it's 8 movements: ski, sled push, sled pull, lunges, burpee, broad jumps, wall balls,
farmer's carry,
rower, and then in between each movement, a kilometer.
Yeah, it is a kilometer, but it did feel like it was a bit shorter. I think every course is slightly different and they try to average it out, so it's the 1K.
But I think the thing that gets you is the running is you're running under stress. Like your legs are toast. So
after the sleds, you're pretty done.
Sounds
or even
awesome.
The farmer's carry, because you come into the farmer's carry, it takes like a minute and then you're out running again, so you don't get any rest.
There's no rest. At what heart rate is it bad for you? And for the listeners, Bianca owns strong Mildura.
Yeah, we got strong colitis Mildura. I've got background in strength and conditioning in the last 15 years.
Okay. So at what point is your heart rate too high? Like how high can it go?
Everyone has their own personal max heart rate. I think regardless, everybody's going to end up pretty close to their max heart rate in a Hyrox because it's not a stroll, it's a race. It's a race.
It's a race.
You're not cruising on
Yeah.
a race.
No, no. Well, all right. So let's get into it. I'm going to rapid fire 1, 2, 5 questions. And you
Mm-hmm.
got 30 seconds to answer them. Because we like Hyrox, everything's timed, right? All right, first one. Your morning routine, chaos or calm?
I prefer calm, but it's all chaos.
What's the chaos?
Kids,
Life.
behavior, tugging, just nappies, trying to get them fed, medication. Yeah, everything.
That's a big one. One word to describe Skyler.
Resilient.
Resilient. One word to describe your husband. This is a bonus question.
Calm.
Calm. All right. And you have another kid, correct? Child?
Yep, I have Brady. He's nearly 2. Yeah, he'd be 2 years old by this time.
2. How old's Skyler?
She's 5.
Okay, Skylar's first. One word to describe your other child.
Busy.
Busy. So that's where the chaos comes from. No. Favorite way to recharge when life feels overwhelming?
Run or sleep?
This kind of like two opposites.
I know. It depends what my body needs more of. I need to run to just have nobody talk to me or touch me or need me, and then sleep is if I can't. So one thing I can't do when my kids are awake. So I'll choose sleep if I need it.
Sleep. And of late, your sleep has been a challenge.
My sleep?
Yeah.
It's been okay. It's hit and miss. Kids just, might be tough to get to bed or they wake up in the night. If Skyler wakes up in the night, it's very hard to get her back to sleep. So hit and miss.
Oh, I lost you for a second. Okay. Something no one tells you about motherhood with Dravet.
You'll never rest again. Or
We're gonna. Yeah.
You and your partner will merge into one person because caring for your child is a 24/7 job.
We'll dive into that here shortly. Your personal mantra right now.
One day at a time.
Oh, that's good. One day at a time. All right. So, Dravet syndrome. Can you break it down for us? I think it's misunderstood and also not understood. Like I don't think many people know too much about it.
I think the thing with Dravet syndrome, so it was a French specialist who discovered it. That's hence the Dravet name. It's a rare epilepsy. It's not super rare, but I think what I want people to know when they come to learn of Dravet syndrome is it's a genetic mutation because I guess I'm tired of people sending me stuff of these miraculous brain surgeries where the epilepsy is in the brain and there is a chance for surgery to improve it. The thing about Dravet syndrome is it's a genetic mutation. So it's because she basically has a spelling error in one of her genes. It's in her DNA. So part of her brain being removed is not going to fix it.
So did you know, let's go back to the early days. Did you know that she had that before birth or no?
No. So even if you want to try and get it tested, it's a pretty invasive procedure and it's really difficult to test. They'd never test it unless you were a gene carrier and you knew there was a risk. even when she was born, completely healthy, ticked all the boxes, even though she already had it.
So how was the? When did you find out?
First seizure. So
Oh
she
man,
had a
how old was she?
first. She was 3 months old. Usually brought on by their first illness, which she caught a cold at 3 months old. So that was her first seizure at 3 months old. From then on, she's rarely ever gone more than 7 days without a seizure. That just flipped a switch, and that was it. She's had seizures quite uh, volatile ever since. And from 3 months old, she got diagnosed at 6 months old. So it was a very fast process. Her neurologist was sort of really good once we got into it, and it sort of got sped up the priority list once she kept presenting to hospital. And there were a few things that, I mean, when it comes to awareness, like you just said, it's probably more doctors and nurses hearing about it and the awareness and the triggers. So they can be the ones to take charge to say, this is ringing a bell. We're going to do this genetic testing for this type of range of epilepsies to see if it is one of these early on.
Mm-hmm. Man, how was I can't I'm just like trying to imagine and picture. I taught special ed for 7 years. A handful of my students had seizures, but nothing like what you're describing. And just the constant. I had one in particular. It was high school, and he had to be watched at all times. And if he did seize, we had our protocols and what we had to do to take care of it. But it was super stressful, just the nonstop like monitoring and watching, and everybody like, what's he doing? Why is he doing this? How do you like function with all of that stress?
It's, I still don't think people understand that it is 24/7. Like, it's, you're a supervisor to a degree because you want to give her some independence, but you still have to be watching her at all times to be incredibly vigilant. There have been times where I have taken my eyes off her for a couple of minutes and I've found her seizing face down on the floor. Very rare, because it's very rare that we're not watching her. But for instance, you're just going to get the laundry or something. Uh, and then you just beat yourself up so much that you weren't there. But yeah, I think that's just one thing that people just truly don't understand. A lot of my discussions with educators and teachers all start out with me telling them, like, yes, you need to understand that somebody has to be tagged to Skylar. You have to have eyes on her the whole time. And it's not until they fully see it and experience it and witness those seizures and how volatile they can be and the procedure that needs to be followed that they're like, okay, like, now we understand.
Mm-hmm. And then when you experience one, it kind of like wakes you up a little bit. How many C's does she'll have multiple a day?
At the moment, the myoclonic seizures she has, which are like maybe 10 to 15 seconds, she's having like 50 to 100 a day. They are just a catch her and a ride it out and make sure she doesn't hurt herself. The other ones, like her focals, her tonic-clonics, those more aggressive ones, she requires the rescue medication, midazolam. All families will be familiar with that probably. They are ramping up. So, I mean, she probably averages like 12 or more a month.
Wow. So you said you can't even go to the other room to get laundry without. So she's with you at all times.
Pretty much. Pretty much. We still don't have a support worker as yet. So, in her whole lifetime, it's been myself or Daniel that have been with her. So, like, say if we were ever to go to a wedding, one of us will stay home until she's asleep and then try and go. No one's ever put her to bed. We don't, unless she's asleep. So we just don't go anywhere. We just don't do anything.
Oh man, what?
Yeah.
So will she? have seizures while sleeping?
Don't jinx me, Zach.
Sorry, bad
There,
question. Moving on.
it is common to have nocturnal seizures where she's woken up and had them, but she hasn't had them in her sleep. She's only had them
Hmm.
when she's woken up during sleep.
Yeah, because the student I had, if he were to fall asleep, which he was always tired, so it was always like a chore to keep him awake to get through the school day. But his
Yeah.
seizures would happen when he would fall asleep, and we would
Oh,
be
that's
like, that it happened 2 times in class, and now those were 2 phone calls I wish I never had to make. Because
no.
then the mom immediately was like, why was he sleeping? And then it
Yeah.
was like, it was hard. It's hard. um so what's her day look like?
She's not like she maybe sleeps until 6 a.m. at the moment, which is nice because once upon a time it was 5 a.m. So given she sleeps all night, that's nice. Not all the time. Medicine is up first, really, but she doesn't really eat much. But we've got to try and get it in with food, so that's always a struggle. But usually, honestly, Zach, by the time I get her out of bed, take her into the bathroom to get ready, I don't ever get out of the bathroom without her having like seizures.
Hmm.
Like my goal at the moment is to just get her up and out of the bathroom before she has her first seizure because I can't even walk her out that door and without her basically going into one.
Wow. So she's 5. Is what grade is that? Is she in school? No.
She just started school
Okay.
this year.
How's that going?
Not great.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah, it's okay. At the moment, the school isn't trained, so I still sit on site because they can't give her medication, and her medication has to be given at onset of the seizure. So it's challenging because wherever she is, a parent needs to be, and then the other parent is with our like Brady, our other son. So now we have two parents out of action and not able to work either. So that's like another challenge that everyday families don't have to face.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think people can kind of put two and two together and see what see what it's like, but I don't
Mm.
think most people realize. And then another big thing people don't realize is when you drop your kid at school, like you don't ever separate. Like she's still in your mind, and it's hard to like, oh, she's at school, like I can go on with my stuff, but obviously you can't do that.
Even
So
when they
then,
are friends, like, and I won't be able to stay on site anymore, I'm honestly probably just going to sit in my car or just be down the road somewhere because, yeah, she's when she has a seizure, if she stops before I get there, she's going to be pretty upset.
oh yeah.
And yeah, I just want to be there when she comes out of it or wakes up.
So is she pretty active?
She's very active. She's got a mind of her own and legs that work, and she will just run wherever she wants to go.
Well, that makes things a little more interesting.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And recently, well, maybe not recently, but I see that you guys are getting into painting.
Oh my god. Yeah. The thing with Skylar is she gets obsessed with a particular thing and routines. So as soon as you do something a few times, it becomes part of her day. Like for instance, like eggs. All of a sudden she's become obsessed with like the eggs, like climbing the fridge to get the carton out and cracking them, and she has to do it, and then we have to cook them a certain way. But now we're just cooking the eggs and wasting them, but it's just because it's fun. It's part of
Oh,
her day.
it's part of her day.
And yeah, so I've started this art thing, and the worst thing I did was start with her letting her use her feet to get, feel the paint, bit of sensory. And oh my God, she just wants to always get her feet in the paint now. And that's the struggle. Like, I wish I just used a paintbrush first.
Yeah.
Very
Oh
messy.
man. And then your
Yeah.
2-year-old, how's their um what's their dynamic?
He's pretty patient, but he's also at the stage where he wants attention too, but he's very gentle and empathetic, that he knows what's going on. Like, since he's been born, the paramedics have been coming to our house weekly. He sees the ambulance, he's seeing his sister get carried out on a stretcher. Uh, to the point that now she has a seizure, he's aware of that. Like, he goes over to the oxygen and gets the nasal prongs, and he's like, Skyler. And, like, she's on the ground and we're giving her the medaz, and he's got the syringe and he's trying to put it in the medaz and, like, draw it up. And he's like, puts his hand on her and he's like, Skyler, okay? He's not
Wow.
even two. Like, he's just,
He
yeah, he's
he's
going to be
gonna
a
be
relentless boy. But,
yeah, he's gonna be a tough little guy.
he's the only one that she tolerates as well. Like, I think just they're around each other all the time. Like, yeah, she just adores him, and they're very sweet. They have a very sweet relationship.
Yeah, so does Skylar have friends, or like is there a community for
No,
this?
I think this is something I battle with in my brain, because, like, when I sent her to kindergarten, it was short and sweet. It was only 6 months. Now, I think that's called preschool for you guys. It's the before prep.
Hmm.
Like, she was in there with just a class of maybe 30 kids, and there were, I guess, your normal kids in there. And, a few little girls would sort of run up to her and they knew her name and they were excited to see her, which was really nice to see. And then, but I know that she's not going to thrive in a mainstream school because she requires that supervision. And, she also has the autism and the cognitive intellectual disability. So we decided that there's only one other school, like there's a special school that she could probably go to where it might be safer for her. But the hard thing with that is they're all, I guess, in a way, in their own world. She's in her own little world. So there's no one coming up to her that knows how to make a friend. She doesn't know how to make a friend. Um, so no. And that's, what, that's just the one thing I've always wanted for her, is just for her to have a friend. But
Yeah,
she doesn't have that yet.
maybe it'll come. It'll come. There's gonna
Yeah.
be there's some time. So then, what? She's on a handful of medications. What? What's like the trajectory, or what's the future look like?
For medication or for her?
Yeah, both. Like, is there anything that can help alleviate some of her stuff, or?
The medications are band-aids, and they're only
Hmm.
band-aids to try and reduce the seizures, maybe control, but in her case, no. She's at the very severe end of Dravet. And again, it's genetic, right? So
Hmm.
realistically, the only treatment to help the root cause is gene therapy. And
Mm.
there are trials for that are going on at the moment, but then you sort of have to come to terms with the age group that this is going to be available for whenever it does become available. Because, by the time these gene therapies go through the trials and are deemed safe enough, it's going to be 10 years from now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, I gotta breathe. I'm holding my breath. How your husband's name's Daniel,
Yep.
and you said it really makes you one having a daughter with Dravet syndrome. How do you guys make sense of it all? Like, how do you sit in the space of like hope, but then like reality? I mean, I asked this because currently a lot of our listeners know my wife's been battling cancer for the last 2 years, and so sitting in that space, even for me, of like hoping for what's to come, but then also like realizing like she has cancer, and it's like, how do you wrestle through some of that?
Yeah, that's really tough. Like, I'm sorry to hear that you're going through that. I did see you touch on that a bit, and God, that's a wicked journey in itself. Cancer.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But how's she doing?
Uh, it's kind of hit her. It it's not getting better. We'll put it that way. It's been 2 years, so it's been a lot of ups and downs, and I think a lot of people, with you know, a lot of people want to help, and they think healing is like linear.
Mm.
It's like, oh, do this, this, and this, and then you'll have this outcome. But it's so up and down and sideways, like it's so unpredictable. So we're kind of in that unpredictable moment. We've had some pretty good months, but yeah, at the moment it's like we're trying to figure out what to do next.
Yeah.
We've been in and out of Mexico for like a year, getting
Is that where the
treatment,
treatment
and
is? Yeah.
yeah, there's some treatment in Mexico, and Mexico is they're good at healing, but not so much at emergencies,
Mm.
and it's kind of like it's a long game. So yeah.
Yeah, cancer is different to like what we're talking about. It's cancer's just a wicked diagnosis, and that's really tough to deal with as well. Especially because you see everybody has such a different journey. You're seeing people that come out the other side of it and are cancer free, and then you're seeing, the other end of the scale of that, which is tragedy.
Right.
And I guess, I mean, with our situation, like you said about the hope and the reality, it's a bit like living in a constant state of grief and gratitude at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not necessarily facing something that we're fighting, we're fighting it daily to give her a longer life and a better quality of life. But the reality is, she has a shortened life expectancy, and anything could change for her at any moment, any day. And just, I guess, yeah, having that gratitude for all those little milestones and just every moment that you do get. But bringing back to one of your initial questions is still, where do you fit into that yourself? Like, how do you still find time for yourself and not feel guilty about it when you're faced with like this constant state of grief and gratitude as well?
Right. Which is a hard place because yes, it's easy to like feel guilty for taking care of yourself, but it's
Mm.
like if you don't, then you can't show up for your kid or anybody because you're just run into the ground. Um, that's a good point, though. Grief and gratitude. It's now we're getting real. It's hard to be in that space because it's like, even in the gratitude space, you know, I like to think that I see things more as they're happening for me and not to me. But then it's like when those gratitude moments do come, like yeah, you celebrate them and they mean a lot more to you than anybody. But then it's still like in the back of your mind, like when is this gonna stop, or
Yeah.
like
And
when is this good moment going to end? Because the next thing is going to come, and then it's an emergent situation, and then like on your end, like another seizure comes, and then it's like hard to just like stay all happy or positive all the time.
yeah. And I think they're always going to coexist when you're going through something. like any diagnosis, disease, whether fighting it or living with it constantly, grief and gratitude is always going to coexist.
Mm-hmm. So then how did you like wrestle through, obviously you probably thought your life was going to look a little different. Um, how do you like wrestle through now it looks this way and this is what you're dealing with?
I think the early stages, like as soon as she got a diagnosis at like 6 months old, I went through like all the stages of grief. Like, and I think it's important that you do. And, there are still moments where I return to those certain stages, but I think I've come out the other side just trying to make the most of her life. And
Mm-hmm.
I think why I did start posting online was to just try and find people who were in similar situations that I could connect with, because everybody I had in my life, I couldn't connect with anymore. Like, just it was very different for what was hard in our lives, to be relatable. And as soon as Skylar got her diagnosis at 6 months old, the first thing I did was like go to Instagram and search for Dravet syndrome, and I couldn't find anything. I could barely find anything. I could barely find kids. I just wanted to find a kid that like said a word. Everything, this doom and gloom that a neurologist had just told me all about. And I was like, but she's so normal right now. Like, what do you mean she's gonna face all these challenges and have this intellectual disability and everything? So I guess that's why I have done what I've done and shared her story and tried to share the positive moments in her life and her milestones. And even I'm like, I will share when she speaks and does things, because that's all I was looking for. Like, I just wanted to see that there was hope, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've gone on a bit of a tangent there. I've forgotten your original question.
No, I did too. So
Uh,
did have you found anybody yet?
yeah, yeah. So I've got a
Okay.
few mums that I'm really close with, and our kids are all similar ages, like give or take 1 year. There's a couple of Facebook groups with Dravet, but they can be a bit overwhelming sometimes, and the grief just hits you really hard in those groups that you have to limit what you see.
Right.
But it is nice to have some other mums, even just to talk about things, challenges your kids facing, or what'd you do here, or what'd you do for school, or your OT, or the stroller upgrade, the car seats, all these things that we have to do. Like, we're going to have to look at a vehicle modification soon, just to have some more insight of what they're going through as well.
Yeah. I had a buddy ask me recently. He's like, "Hey, I was looking into like the grief cycle. Have you gone through that?" I was like, I'm like,
That's a good
bro,
question.
I sometimes I go through all stages in one day.
Yeah.
Like that's a dumb question.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt that they don't know what they don't know. Uh,
mhm,
and they don't know what to ask either.
totally. They have no idea. Or the best question: how are you doing? It's like, what do you want me
No,
to say?
the one that gets me is the let me know if you need anything. I'm like, you just have to
Yes.
honest with me. I don't have any more mental capacity to even think of what I need. And the thing is, everybody will say, let me know if you need anything, but only a few people will know that you will never ask.
Yep. Yep. I just put a post out about that, about how like how to actually help somebody when times are tough, and for me it's presence, like just knowing that you're there, even if I don't ask you for anything, because that question is like, let me know when you need something. Like I'm never going to ask you A, and B, half the time I don't even know what I need.
Yeah.
But if you're just there, and then maybe I'll ask you like, yo, let's go get some coffee or something. But yeah, that question kills me because it's like, yeah, it all goes back on me, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
be like, what? How about
It's like,
you just do
oh
something?
yeah, oh, this person said let them know if they need anything. Like, And if it's really not a family member or somebody you're incredibly close to, you're not going to ask them for anything.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
or just show up and like, I mean, we have some friends. They'll just show up and like start cleaning the house. I'm like, that's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't ask you. You just figure like, if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't want to clean the house. So I'm just going to come over and clean the house.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. That's what I need.
Yeah. And it's just little
uh,
things like that. I suppose if anybody's listening in that situation, like think about just tasks that you can do every day and weekly and things that help you function in your everyday life, because the probability is that the person who's going through this grief and these challenges probably doesn't have the capacity to do those things or nor have the energy to give to those things. And that's just
yeah.
like everyday, you know, things that can be decluttered and help us feel a little bit better.
hmm And it's even some of the littlest, easiest tasks, and you just like can't get yourself to do them. Or like, I own a construction business, and I'm removed. It's in Idaho. It's in another state. But even some of the times, like going and sending an invoice, it takes literally 10 minutes. But sometimes I was just like, I can't even like muster up, and I'm gonna make money off of it. I don't even have enough energy to send this invoice in 10 minutes.
Yeah. I think mine's emails. Like emails, just I
Emails,
feel like
yep.
I really have to finish a to-do list. Like I have to check things off. And at the moment I just feel like more is getting added than I'm able to tick off. And that load is just weighing on me. I'm like, I just need to finish a task. Just to have like a sense of
Right.
accomplishment. Like
Which sometimes too, it's interesting returning phone calls, and you just know like what conversations are gonna drain you and
yeah.
which ones are gonna charge you, and those ones that I mean, I've lost friends. It's just like you just don't have it, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So then
It is.
how yeah.
Oh no, it's just yeah, it's hard. Like I said, like you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I think there does just come a time in your life where you move through different phases, and that gap between your realities and the ability to relate, the wider that gets, the less you're going to be able to remain friends or have connections. Because really, friendships are just a series of like me too moments. Like, you know what I mean? It's you've got to
Yeah.
have stuff in common. If that gap gets too broad, then I can't sit down and have coffee for you when you've had a bad hair day or something. Like it's just my level of bad is just so far away from something like that that
Right.
I just can't.
Which is interesting. Has it like your journey made you more like, I know in San Diego we say salty. It's more just like, you're just a little bit more on edge, or you're just kind of like some of those like little things that people do complain about. You're just like, dude, no, stop. Or you got like kind of have a chip on your shoulder. You're just like,
It's oh look, everybody's level of hard is different, and there are people out there that have a much harder level of hard than me, and I don't know what that feels like yet because I'm at my level of hard.
hmm
So it's just trying to approach everything with understanding. I think the thing that probably ruffles my feathers most at the moment is just how many children and people, I guess, are coming out with like the ADHD and the autism, which, if you look into it, just seems like it's a little bit more easier to get a diagnosis for. I guess perhaps for us in Australia, what we have for our health scheme is like the NDIS here. And a lot of the people with these rare, severe medical conditions, the funding is being severely reduced. And I don't know much about it, to be completely honest, but it just feels like a lot more people are getting onto it, and that's why the funds are getting reduced. It's just, I don't know, I just see it left, right, and center, and I think people are very confused with autism because, there's movies about it
Mm-hmm.
and glorify it, that it can be honed in intelligence, and they're completely missing the point of what I can't speak, profound severe autism is actually like to live with, and not for the
Yeah.
person, for the carers of them. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Glorification in one
Yeah.
end of autism compared to the reality of what some parents and carers really live with every day.
100%. I was like, over here, autism's a superpower. Over here, it's like, no, no, it's not. And I taught, you know, non-speaking violent classes of autism, and that was kind of that's what I know from teaching. And I would get some of my staff, complaining about the day, how hard it was, and blah blah blah. And early on, I'm like, you guys, we have no idea. Like, we're here for 6 hours, and we go home. Like,
Yeah.
these parents live a life that we have no idea what it's like. And that's a lot of the motivation for me to start this podcast, because I would see all this glorification going on, and my reality of teaching severe or profound, severe can be an offensive word. Profound autism. I mean, any word nowadays is offensive, right? Um, but I was just like, we need to get these parents' stories out there, because what I'm hearing is nowhere close to what is actually going on.
Yeah, like unless your child needs that 24/7 where their actions are unsafe to themselves. Yeah, it's not
Right.
glorified.
It's not.
We've
And
got
then,
so many locks on our doors, and we've had to put hook and eye locks at the top, and just, she can reach the kettle, she can, everything needs to be triple checked.
yeah. And in the States, when President Trump said autism is a horror show, oh man, the like social media blew up and was like, "How dare you say that?" And when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, I know way too many parents who would say exactly that." And
I
so
can't say I ever heard that, but that is, yeah.
mm-hmm,
And if people don't understand that line, that statement, they haven't seen it yet. They haven't lived
right,
with it. They haven't lived with it
mm-hmm,
long enough to feel the impacts of what it does to parents and carers, even siblings.
right, yeah. The siblings is like the forgotten person in a journey like this. Like the siblings. Oh man, I've had a couple siblings on the podcast, and it's like hearing their reality of growing up with a brother with non-speaking violent autism. Like, they're always on eggshells, and they can't. One family, the daughter would lock herself in the room because if she was unsafe.
Yeah.
And for
And
a kid to grow up that way, like that, sounds like a horror show.
yeah. And that is the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Again, not
Um,
often.
right. So you own a Pilates studio. Like, where do you have energy to do all that? Own a business.
I don't, but I do own it. I just don't have the energy. We have had, we had our strength and conditioning gym, And we opened Strong Pilates as like a second, because it was very different to what we were doing in Mildura, which is sort of like a regional town here. It's challenging mostly to find staff and find good staff being in a regional town. So it's difficult. I don't feel like I've been able to give it my full potential to see where I could really get the business to, because like I sort of said, we've morphed into one person that, I can't work the hours that you need to work to make a business run. Like a full-time job, even if we did a full-time job, that means it's split hours, and that's a shared role between Daniel and I anyway. So it is hard to give it your full attention. But I have recently found some really good staff that have come on board to help us manage that, which is good, because it's really difficult to wake up at 4 a.m. and go and teach all morning, and then or even to just not be home at those peak times for your kids, which is the mornings and the bedtimes, like that afternoon witching hour, we call it here. And then, or, if we are getting up and doing that in the morning, then that means the day's a bit of a write-off, and we then don't get to do any exercise ourselves. And, being people who need that physical outlet, it is challenging, because, we both want to work, we both want to exercise, both want to be home with the kids. Or it's just, trying to divide that attention so you're still looking after yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy.
No, not at all. So how do you balance, like you and Daniel, like how do you do marriage?
Well, we have shared family calendar, and if you want to do something, you put it in the calendar. If it's not in the calendar, it doesn't get done. And then otherwise it's just sort of priority of who needs to do what, or just if a kid's napping or something, somebody go do some exercise or go do some work. Or yeah.
So it's very clear and structured. That's a very good practical hack. It's got to be in the calendar or it's not happening.
Oh yeah, it has to be in the calendar.
So then do you schedule your workouts?
I should, but I don't. No, that's just no one's doing anything in the morning. You don't want to do anything? Can I go for a run? Okay, if I can go for a run, that's great.
Okay. Yeah. How is this like? How has it changed you as a person?
Oh, I don't know how to put into words how it's changed me. Like, in a way, I just sort of had to grow up overnight. Like, I never had to go to hospital, never been around hospitals really my whole life. And I was used to be just quite a spontaneous, carefree person. And then, with Skyler's diagnosis and the responsibility of learning everything about that, being our first child, was just, I don't know, confronting and a journey in itself. And the things we've gone through with her and the decisions we've had to make along the way. I guess I'm just a bit more of a realist nowadays, and a bit more conservative, a bit more careful where I spend my energy, and don't really do anything spontaneous or crazy. At the end of the day, I just need it's a hard thing to put into words, but I know she has a shortened life expectancy, and I can't imagine my life without her, but I hate to imagine her life without me.
Yeah, that's intense. It made me think another question that is funny that I'll get or whatever. If a buddy calls and we're like, "Hey, we're gonna go do this in like 4 hours. You want to come?" I'm like, "Can I get like 2 weeks notice, please?"
Yeah. It's like, I need 3 weeks notice, or sometimes 3 hours notice. I need all the time in the world to get organized, or you might message me and it's like, maybe I actually can do that. Like,
right.
Yeah,
it's like in the moment. No, not at all. What's something you wish someone had told you early on that that nobody did?
I don't know if this is something I wish people told me, but early on, I wish the neurologists and the doctors stopped pushing to just increase her drug, like the dosage, every single time she had a seizure, because she was never going to stop having seizures. And then she ended up on 5 AEDs daily and,
Mm.
quite relying on one of them that is a benzo now. And it's like, you've almost reached max capacity, and it's such a process to get her off and the side effects and everything. Like, I just wish we took more time and I had a bit more education around that area to just not let them increase, add. That's just one thing I wish I knew earlier on.
Hmm. Is it possible? I don't know how to phrase this. Like when you see so many like intense and you live in so many intense moments, do you like do you feel it makes you stronger or for the next ones to come? Or is it like you just kind of like have your game face on and you're kind of like numb to it? I don't know if
I
that's the
think
right
we're
word.
pretty numb to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we had this conversation where, like, imagine if you put our first 000 call against our current 000 calls, which, in your country it's 911. Like the conversations we had in that first year and versus the conversations now on the phone are quite calm. But having said that, we also have all the equipment now that we need to, keep her breathing per se,
Hmm.
until the paramedics get there. And the paramedics know her well, so they get there very fast too. So they're fantastic. But what was your question again?
No, I was just like if you like you I mean you answered it like you kind of get numb to it.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's you ticking boxes of everything that needs to be done because you know what needs to be done in what order. Yeah.
Right, right. So then how do you keep your nervous system like regulated when you live in such a
I
stressful
just don't
reality?
acknowledge it. I just the
Yeah.
cortisol levels are just always raised. I mean, like, yeah, I was trying to have like a business call the other day, and I was like, I gotta go. Skyler's having a seizure. Like, it's just our life at the moment, and just having to be close by that you are on call 24/7. So it's, yeah. Daniel and I don't ever call each other, or if we do call each other, the first thing we say is she's okay. If you
Okay.
genuinely need to call the other person, because when I see his name, it's not good. So we know that we don't like to see each other's names come up on our phones.
I mean that says enough. That is like the reality in one sentence.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
It's like, just don't, unless it's an emergency. Just don't call me. Or yeah,
or or greet it with everything is okay. Oh man. So you have been going at this for 5 years. You run and own a business, and now you're giving back with your nonprofit. Can you tell us a little bit about Little Sky Eyes Foundation and how that came
yeah.
about?
Well, the name came about because her name's Skylar and she has blue eyes, so that's why we called it Little Sky Eyes. And the reason we did it, so it's been nearly 2 years now, but we've been fundraising for, say, perhaps 4 years now. I think by her 1 year old birthday, we started. Uh, so much money was getting raised, and it was going to the Dravet Syndrome Foundation, which is perfectly fine. I think they're in the US or even a bit of UK, which is amazing. They support research, they support so much stuff. Uh, but the Australian families who needed grants to help with current challenges their kids were facing for medical equipment that you needed now just to give your child now a better quality of life and care and keep them safe. There was a bit of a gap there. Those grants weren't able to be provided. So that's why we decided to do this one. At the moment, yes, it is just an Australian charity. So it's for Australian families, children and their families who have Dravet syndrome or a genetic epilepsy. So basically any rare epilepsy or genetic mutation epilepsy as well.
So you've had it for 4 years. And what do you hope to accomplish with it?
I just want every child to sleep safely and for their parents to also feel like their child has a safe place to sleep, because like safety surround beds, they cost around $22,000, and our NDIS here does not fund them. So you have to get a grant or pay for it yourself.
Wow. Man. I say, yeah, on the other side of it is like the financial burden. Oh, burden's probably a bad word. The financial reality, stress,
I think
is
burden is the right
real.
word, because it is a financial burden that we all face that other families don't. Like the amount of money we've had to spend on equipment or other safety pieces to just ensure that her oximeter and her oxygen and her seizure monitor work, and have all those things in place. Like they're expenses that you don't need if your child is,
Hmm.
neurotypical.
Right, right. What keeps you going? Like when on like a rough day and you're like kind of maxed out. How do you push through
Um,
it?
I just think the love for your child just makes you stronger. You don't get a choice. You don't get a choice. People say, I don't know, I couldn't do what you do, but you would if it was you, because you don't have a choice. You love your child.
Yeah,
You know.
right. I know. That's the exact response I give. I'm like, what else? What are you gonna do? There's no other option other than keep going.
Mm. One day at a time.
uh, one day at a time. There it is. We'll close it out with a couple more. If Skyler could one day hear this episode, what would you want her to know about the way you've been showing up for her as mom?
If I'm being a realist, Skylar
Yeah.
isn't going to understand any of this episode or the conversations that we've had. But if she heard it, she would probably just say, "Mommy," and you know what? I would just want her to have my voice to give her comfort.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my realism coming in.
No, that's good. That's good. You know. Oh, so what advice would you give to others on a similar journey, or just on a journey of hard?
Go through the 7 stages of grief and feel it all, and know that grief and gratitude can coexist. But more importantly, just know that every journey is different. So somebody else's journey doesn't mean that's going to be yours either. So try to look for the
Mhm.
good and don't get too overwhelmed by the bad.
Right. Take it one day at a time.
Mm.
One day. And that's how I always think, like, oh, today was hard. Tomorrow might be, but it might not be. Let's just err on them. It might not be. And then when you do get those good days, it's like, oh, that was great. But then always in the back of your head, it's like, when is the bad day coming? But
Yeah.
that's just a mental battle. All right. Well, where can people find you on Instagram? Is that the main?
Yeah, mostly on Instagram, just at Bianca.Coghlan or Little Skies Foundation. That's my main one.
Okay. And then there's a Little Skies Foundation on Instagram as well.
Yeah, there is. We're not super active, but it's on there. So, if you've got any
Okay.
Australian listeners?
Yeah, yeah. I've had a few Australian podcasts. I have another one coming up.
Oh,
I don't.
nice.
Yeah, I don't know where she's at. One of
That's a
them
good
was in
one.
Tasmania.
Yeah.
Is that close to you?
It is this state below us, but we're separated by the ocean.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Bianca, thank you so much for being on. That was a blast. We got we got into some, I don't know, intense moments. Um, but it was helpful for me. So thanks for all you do, and it's inspiring to see how you keep showing up. Really, that's when I came across your account, and I kind of had ideas on what like your day to day looked like just from my experience with kids with epilepsy. And I remember just like it was so stressful. Like the medical side of it, like teaching autism, it's like one thing, but when you bring in the medical side, it's a whole different level. And so I see you showing up, and you have a event coming up
Yeah.
for Little
The
Sky
main
Eyes.
event. Yeah, the main event coming up is the Purple Ball, so the Gala Ball. That's our biggest
Oh,
fundraiser for the year.
oh, nice. What do you do at the ball? Dance?
Uh, we do yes. We do like silent auction, live auction. So in the process of getting valuable items that can be auctioned off, and perhaps raffles, whatever we do on the night, entertainment, just things like that.
Things you do at balls.
Yeah, the main purpose is to raise funds. So yeah, get donations, get sponsors, and sell the auction items.
So cool. So make sure you find Bianca and try and get involved in Little Skies. I'm gonna check it out. So I appreciate this hour and taking time out of your day. I know you probably half of your mind was in your life. So
No, I
I
gave you my full attention, Zach. My phone's here ready if it was needed, but it wasn't needed, so that's good.
no, that's great. Well,